making sure financially, and also to be in a relationship. Yeah, that's it for now.
All right, let's carry on. Let's go. Thank you, Roslyn. Thank you.
You're welcome. But know that we will keep you lifted up in prayer. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Ustream is on, beautiful, running very smoothly. So you can watch Ustream even on our website. When you open the homepage, you scroll down. There is a place there that you can click and you can watch Ustream straight from the website. You can also go to the Chimera Show and watch this as it's taking place live. All right. I want us to handle this topic very quickly and be done with it. Yesterday we witnessed, depending on where you were, there were actually 14 states. I think so, 14 states where you are able to see the eclipse very clearly, and you are able to see the full eclipse. Oh boy, excuse me, people. Let me just do this.
Thank you.
All right, let's continue. There were about 14 states where you were able to see the full eclipse, like the entire thing, not partial. Where we were able to see just a partial. It wasn't really serious. It was just nothing really. There was nothing there. Those of you in Oregon and those of you in certain parts of Illinois, you were able to see it, and also in North Carolina, South Carolina, all those territories, you were able to see the eclipse quite full. Hello? Oh, who is this? Yes, we are on the television. We are broadcasting right now. Call me in an hour's time. All right. Let me find somewhere to keep it. Many of you were celebrating seeing the eclipse for the first time. But the question is, do you really understand what eclipse is about? See, what majority of the people were looking at eclipse just from the scientific point of view, what is happening. Let me give you a summary of what the entire thing is about scientifically. It's about, you see, the Bible is where we base our science. I base my science not just on what people say, on what scientists say in practical and theoretical physics, astronomy or astrophysics, or the studies of the planets and the planetary studies or studies of this cosmology as a whole, or the science of the universe. I do not just base my fact on that because it is true. What they are telling you is true to a very large extent. But there is also a first science that is already there for us, and that is found in the Bible itself. The Bible is not just a book of arts or a book of religion. The Bible is a book of science. It's a higher science. And it doesn't mean that because there are no laboratories for you to go and experiment things, that is what makes it less science. The science you are studying is actually tools for trying to understand the science of God, what God has done, what he has put in place. So we are not smarter than God. And of course, let's bring it down to the Mecca. We are not smarter than Jesus, who put science in place, who put the things in the earth for us human beings. Is part of activities on earth to subdue the earth and to replenish it. Scientific studies is doing what God already said we should do, to subdue the earth, to try to understand the earth in which you come into. I was given a key to share with you this afternoon, and that key is this. Any group of beings, whether they are spirit, or whether they are human spirits, any group of beings that fails to question, subdue, replenish their universe or their planets, if they fail to question it, if they fail to subdue it, to understand it, to explore it, to discover how to use the content of it for survival, that particular civilization will collapse and dies. So that is why when people try to replace real science with politics, they are destroying their civilization. They are not allowing us to understand the universe. That is why the Chinese are in the forefront of the understanding of universe, money, and industries. Because while the rest of the world were fighting among themselves, the Chinese were filling their libraries with knowledge. Today we celebrate the Greek, Italian, we celebrate Western painters, artists, scientists, etc. But go to the Chinese literature and you will find that they were already far ahead of us in science. A lot of civilization that has come and gone left a lot of science behind, a lot of machines that we are trying to decode them today, and we have decoded some of them, like Choco Canyon in New Mexico, United States, or among the Romans. There are machines that has been discovered among ancient civilization of the Romans, of the Greeks, of the native Indians, that we don't even know what it is, who lived among them, who came there before. Because it's not the place of God to tell us what he has done before. He's only interested in revealing a little bit to us that he wants us to know. If not that Jesus was kind to me, I would not have known that demons were civilization that lived here before us. I would not have known. And it was until I was wondering who again has been given this revelation, until I heard somebody told me that, oh, you are looking for this. Benny Hinn is saying the same thing. I said, oh, okay. This is the key. Any group of beings who fail to question, explore, discover, and make good use of what is already there to advance life and for their survival, if they fail to do that, they will collapse as a civilization. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, why your family is not working. While the family you were born into is the way it is. For generations upon generation, decade upon decade, era upon era, people come and go where you come from, where you were born. Doesn't matter whether you were born in America or Canada or Europe or wherever. But this is why your family has remained the way it is. I know that there have been people who were fortunate to have some money sometimes, and other times none whatsoever. But let me tell you why. Those who survive the earth are those who question, explore, experiment with where they are. Now that you are alive, you have one question to ask yourself. And that one question is this: why is my family the way it is? Why is there no wealthy person with a lot of investment that will outlive the rest of humanity? Who is preparing the next generation in my family? Who is preparing them to take over and to know exactly what they are doing so that they don't go broke, they don't get sick, they don't age quickly, they age very slowly? Who groom you? If you look at your life, you thought that your parents really did a good thing. They gave you food, they gave you clothes. But how smart were they to prepare you for investment, to prepare you for experimentation, exploration, and discovery of the earth that you came to be? Nothing. In fact, if they couldn't tell you anything about dating, friendship, marriage, they didn't tell you anything about negotiation, building alliances, money, investment, then how do you think that they will go to tell you about other things? Because they were interested in having kids, raising kids. What to do with the kids, they didn't know. That children are for the preparation to take over investment. You prepare them on how to run it day by day. They sit with you and watch how you do it. You don't send kids to university, to college, just to go and study and have a certificate. It's part of your preparation. You wait when they finish, you sit them down, and you begin, right from when they are born, you begin to tell them, you begin to initiate them into the different things that you know is what you are passing on to them forever. And our parents fell in those things. Why? Because nobody told them. And they themselves did not. Okay, nobody told you. Did you take time to go and find out yourself? Because that's what we say. Our parents didn't tell us because nobody told them. But did you go to find out about it yourself? Since nobody told you, if you really wanted to make it in life, did you go to find out about it yourself? Did you go to ask the questions that your parents failed to ask? And that's what makes you a survivor. That's what makes you a real human being, is the ability to ask questions where others fail to ask. Where others fail to go, you are willing to go. And we think that that silence is golden. Silence means being dumb. There's a place for silence. And science is in the frontier of the new movement, trying to understand our universe. Why are things happening this way? Let me share with you what you need to know about the eclipse. In summary, it is, when you read the Bible, you hear that God told the sun to rule during the daytime. The sun doesn't come out during the nighttime. The sun is always there, but the moon takes over during the night. Because they are both rulers. There are three things God told to rule. The first is the sun. Is the number one thing that God told You are to rule during the day. Number 2, the moon, to rule during the night, to give light on the earth. Then he created the stars. He didn't say anything to the stars. But they were all of it, the sun, the moon, the stars, stood for signs, for seasons, for days, for years, and for amazement. And let me tell you what that amazement, the surprise, and that is what people were cheering yesterday. They were cheering the amazement, the surprise. Let me tell you what that is. There are 2 things here. Number 1, the sun is ruling during the day. He's doing his job that it has been constructed and put together to do. It was manufactured to do. And the moon, instead of waiting till the time for it to come and take over, because there is a change of guard, during the daytime, as see, the earth revolves around the sun. Am I right in what I'm saying? Is it the earth revolving around the sun? Is that the right thing? Those of you in geography, am I saying the right thing? We want to be correct here. Where are the scientists on the conference line this afternoon? Who are on the front lines? Do the sun revolve around the earth or the earth revolves around the sun? Which one? Let me find out whether you know this.
Earth revolves around the sun.
Good. I want to make sure you know this. The earth revolves around the sun. Because there was a time when this theory was put that the earth revolves around the sun. And the Roman Catholic Church killed those scientists. And we are almost back to the time that we reject science. So, you see, the sun is doing its job. Daytime is on. And the moon, which is not yet time for it to take over its job, decide to move in. Decide to move in. And partially for a few minutes, or an hour or 2, or more, decide to start the work of night, to rule during the day. It's not supposed to rule during the day. And so it comes and covers at a particular time of a few minutes or a few seconds or whatever. It covers the sun. It covers the sun. Are you joining us on our conference? Hello, who is this? You are crazy. People who don't care about what I'm doing. You are supposed to know what I do. You are calling me when I'm doing broadcasts. I don't know. You've been with me all these years. You don't even care about what I do and what time. This is no good. All right, let's continue. So you see, for those few minutes or few seconds, you see the night come with the moon. In fact, you can also see stars. Nighttime decide to come for a brief moment and passes through the sun. And you can see how it covers the front of the sun, and you can still see the glaring around that occurrence that shows you that the sun was there. Is the sun should have been the one that continues to be doing his job, not the moon, not the night coming. That's what is happening. We have a lot of scientific explanation for why that happens. And that is your job to go and read it up. It's not my job to tell you I am in the spiritual, in the work of spirituality. I am to tell you the reasons for this from the word. Eclipse is a scientific occurrence. Some eclipses are just nature playing out itself and has no meaning whatsoever. And there are some eclipses that are messengers. In ancient times, we say they are messengers of the gods and goddesses. For us Christians, eclipse is God's silent text message, God's silent messenger for everybody to see at the same time. It's God's silent messenger for everybody to see and hear at the same time. If you stand on his path, whether you see it full eclipse or partial eclipse, a message is being sent. A CNN, a cable news network, a satellite news network is on. Heaven speaks in codes. Heaven speaks in symbols. Sometimes you don't hear their voice, but they are there. They are there. I'll give you an example. An angel appeared and talked to the shepherds about the birth of Jesus. And the shepherd did not know that there was a party going on in heaven. Seriously, there was a party going on in heaven at the birth of Jesus. Also, there was a party that was going on at his ascension when he went back to heaven. There was a party going on also. So suddenly, after the angel has spoken to the shepherds about the birth of Jesus, God now parted the heaven for the shepherd to see what was going on. And the shepherd now saw a large group of angels celebrating and rejoicing, and were shouting and happy and dancing. I'm just adding those things because that's a normal thing that happens when people are happy. They are not just the hey, hallelujah, hallelujah. No. They are shouting, making merriment, rejoicing, dancing. That's the meaning of it. Because the people in heaven, both angels and humans who have gone there, and God himself, they behave like kids. When you see how kids are enthusiastic, full of joy, happiness, believe in, oh my gosh, that's how people in heaven are. Although they have all the power, all the wisdom, everything, they are simple. Very simple, yet very sophisticated, but simple. They have it all. God having everything does not make him to sit in a throne and destroy everybody. The eclipse of yesterday was not just nature playing itself out. It's the kind of eclipse that comes once in a lifetime, that everybody can see. When you see an eclipse that everyone can see for a longer period of time, and in many states, and in almost all the states partially, and in some fully, that is a messenger from God. Not from the gods, not from the goddess, but from the maker of the heavens and the earth. The one we saw yesterday. There are some smaller eclipses that is just in an island. Let me share something that you need to know. It's not just eclipse, but also flood, major flood, hurricanes. There are some that are a release from demons, devils, or witches can stay up nature. They can. I've seen it. This is not a joke. People in the world of darkness can stay up nature. But the eclipse of yesterday is not from the world of darkness. You ask me how, because I know. Because you follow the patterns. There are patterns that you see and you study and you know. And that is what I do. I'm a great person in terms of the study. I love space. I love the stars. I love nature. I love the moon. I watch and I am told what each thing means. And it has never failed. Whatever they tell me is what it is. There are certain things that is happening, it's just ordinary hurricane, it's nature playing out itself. And then there are others, I'm out, stop it. There are others that is a judgment. Indonesia kicked out the missionaries of the gospel from their countries. Watch how God dealt with Indonesia. The tsunami came. Am I happy to be saying it? Not really. But they should not be stupid. They shouldn't be foolish. Because Indonesia is the largest Islamic nation in the world. So they decided to play politics with religion. And they kick out the missionaries of the gospel from their countries. And the next thing we had, the worst tsunami that has ever happened on earth. The eclipse of yesterday was a messenger from heaven. God is speaking. God is speaking. Hello? Dorothy, every 12 o'clock in Wichita, Kansas is 12 noon prosperity prayer. We are broadcasting right now. Bye-bye. I keep this phone on because of emergency, like yesterday when we were. If it was turned off, somebody would have missed me that is supposed to miss me. But then you see people calling who shouldn't at this time. They should know what we are doing. All right. What happened yesterday is part of what we call the phenomena of the heavens. In so many places in the Bible, I'm not here this morning to teach you about eclipse. I'm to give you a summary of what happened yesterday. I'm not here to teach you about the blood moon and so on, and what they stand for. There will be a place when we will deal with the phenomena of heaven, and then I will deal with sun, moon, stars, eclipse, flood, hurricane, tornadoes. I will deal with thunder. I will deal with all of them, including earthquakes. And we will put it in proper perspective for generation to come. They will go to our volumes, read it or watch it, and be able to know what they are doing. The eclipse of yesterday was God telling us about a certain cup that is filled. It's a judgment. When your day turns into night, it means that, because you see, the eclipse happened in the afternoon. It started like around 11 o'clock, 11:30, 12 o'clock here in Wichita, Kansas. The partial one we saw. It started like 12 o'clock in Oregon, where they normally starts. In the east, I think, yeah, I think so. It started around that time, Eastern time. I think it was around 12 o'clock Eastern time. I think that's when it started. In the middle of the day, darkness came over the land. Go and read in the book of Exodus when darkness came over the land. It was a judgment. It was not a blessing. And the reason why God decided that many states sees the full eclipse, whereby darkness actually happened, the temperature drops. I hope you all knew as of yesterday that what I've been teaching you, what I've been instructing you about Genesis 1 verse 2, you now understand. When the moon is withdrawn, the sun is withdrawn. Especially when the sun is withdrawn, you have a very cool climate. And when the sun, the moon, the stars are sealed up, they are withdrawn, you now have an ice age. Everything is a disaster. Because you saw when darkness came over the land for a few minutes, the temperature dropped, coolness came. And that is just for a few seconds, a few minutes, and the temperature drops. So that tells you what the world out there told me. And that's how it is. If you allow that to remain without the sun, no sun, but just darkness continually, go and see how the climates will begin to change in that territory. There are eclipses that are just eclipses. There is nothing attached to it. It's just how nature is doing what it's supposed to do for certain reasons. But they are eclipses that you should pay attention to. They are stars that are in the sky, and they are just stars doing their job. And sometimes there is a star that is in the sky that is there, that is your star. You should know it. There are stars that come to announce that a king has been born, somebody is dead, something. In Africa, an owl begin to make their noise there, to whatever they call it, the noise of an owl. And you know that somebody is dead. And in the morning, somebody prominent dies. And there are just sounds of owls that are just owls. There's no meaning. Nobody dies. 3 magi saw a particular star in the sky, and they knew a king has been born in Israel. And they went to go and find him. It's there in the Bible. This is not a strange thing. God decided to send a message to America to tell this nation that we've crossed the boundary. We've overstepped our boundary in our dealing with immigrants, race relations, in our approach to science and technology. We've crossed the boundary when it comes to greed, for power, for money, for control. We have elevated hatred, hypocrisy. The Pharisaic movement is on. Envy, jealousy. People are no longer entering into relationship because they really care. We have elevated laziness, procrastination, and no longer the people we are supposed to be. We have elevated government and their powers above the individual entrepreneurship. America is known, the land of the free, the land of the brave, where the individuals established. And nowadays, it's no longer so. People created things. Great farmers, great industries, where are they? Today we are arguing over immigrants. We are fighting over adding a few more pennies to the women to be equal to men. Those whose fathers slayed the Indians and the blacks and chained the blacks, the African Americans, still some of them want to perpetuate this, while the rest are against it. We have a president, somebody in the White House, who doesn't understand all this. It's about him being in power, and that's it. And that's a very bad thing. Let me tell you, if an African American man or a Latino was to behave like Trump, Republican would have taken him down a long time ago. Can you imagine a 70-something-year-old man is being coached on how to behave, how to talk? Suppose it was a black person. Suppose it was a Latino. Do you think this nation will have tolerated him? No, they won't. That he doesn't really know politics. He doesn't really know this. He doesn't, and we all accept it. That's wrong. We've gone to war that we shouldn't go to. We've shed innocent blood that we shouldn't shed. Police have killed people they shouldn't kill. Selling drugs that is killing our people is all over the place. Why will God not tell us about his judgment that is on? That the nation is going to go through judgment, and is going through judgment from yesterday. And when you saw the sun very bright before the darkness came, and after the darkness came and went, the light returned back. It also stood for the cleansing that is going to happen. The darkness must first come before the day return. Let's remember this. The darkness must first come before the day return. There is a cleansing. There is a group of people in this country and in your country. I'm also speaking to people outside this country. There are a group of people who have decided that things are going to remain the way it used to be in olden days, where people live in fear, where people were lynched, where women had no rights, where blacks were used to make money for others. And we think that we can return back to that place. See, this country has not yet repented from what happened to the Indians, the natives, or what happened to the black slaves. They've not yet repented from it. We want to build on the evil that our forefathers did. And I said it in the handwriting on the wall. Trump stands for something that is about to happen. The expose, the exposition, the exposure of what has been hidden. I remember God telling me that I am happy that Hillary did not inherit this, because Obama tried to sweep it under the carpet so that America just moved forward without dealing with the hidden skeleton, without bearing the corpses, without removing the things that are dirty. Don't think that Charlottesville, don't think that what you've seen is the end of it. We've not yet had the economic destruction, the economic backfall. We've not yet had backfall in some other things. They are all going to happen, and very quickly too. And there will be removal of people who are in position of authority. That's the meaning of the eclipse, when the darkness came for a few minutes. For a few minutes and seconds, God has judged and finished his judgment. There are people, leaders in position of authority that will be removed. The darkness got rid of them yesterday. The eclipse is a decision. It's a meeting that has happened who knows how many years ago. God saw today and decided a meeting took place a long time ago concerning yesterday. And now we are just seeing the aftermath of a meeting that happened a long time ago. Meeting that was spoken into place. Before Jesus came, it was spoken a long time ago. Before John the Deepest came, it was spoken a long time ago. You have to be aware of this. Things do not just happen. the meetings that God had in his court is released so that even scientists are aware of when the next this or next that. There are people who have been swept away. Yesterday, August 21st, some people were swept away. I'm going to tell you the good news of what happened yesterday. Some people were swept away. Some families were overthrown. Some towers were broken. A particular group of thoughts, ideas that has been reigning in secret were swept away by darkness in that few second and minute of darkness. It swept things away. The eclipse also stands for the judgment of the gods and goddesses that have been controlling the atmosphere of the nation were judged. During that few minutes of darkness, the gods and goddesses that governs the land were judged. Wicked people were judged. So while people were clapping about the amazement, I was just sitting at my patio and just looking because we had a partial one. It was not a full one, so I wasn't really interested. I was just listening and watching things on my tablet and seeing what was happening and so on, and taking pictures of the different changes in the atmosphere around me. That's what I was doing, because we didn't have the full darkness. It was just not really there. For a few, go and read the book of Exodus, you will see. There is always the judgment of the gods and goddesses. The demons are judged. The power that has been ruling a nation, that grabbed a nation. Some people seized the nation because they are unfinished business that were not finished. That we decided, let's go on as a nation, we are good. No, there are some unfinished business that we did not finish a long time ago, and we need to finish it. We need to address it. We need to deal with it. There has to be national repentance. And instead, we start insulting immigrants, insulting women, insulting races, and fighting each other. So that unfinished business has to be finished. It was judged. And the powers that has kept certain people in position as senators, as members of the House of Representatives, as Supreme Court judges, as top business men, doing evil behind the scene, as salesmen, pastors, prophets. You didn't want to hear this one. Pastors, prophets, apostles, evangelists, popes, cardinals, archbishops, bishops, all kinds of people were judged yesterday. When the darkness, when the moon went over, when the nighttime went over the day, done deal. You can't turn back the clock. People were swept. For the next 100 years, there are families that will never test power in America. They have been swept away. Theirs is done. Because they've perpetuated evil for a long time. And let me tell you the good news. Before the darkness came, you saw the changes in the sun. The heightened, glittering, brightness, glory. The extra shining that you were told not to watch, except with an eclipse glass over your eyes. Watch this. Before the eclipse, the brightness of the sun, the intense excitement of the sun, about what even the sun got excited about what is about to happen on the earth. Because you see, what is happening in the sky is about the earth. It's not about the night, the moon, the sun. No, it's about us. All that they are doing is about us. And after that period of of darkness, the sun, the daytime returned back. The cleansing, the judgment, the establishment has been done. Now let me focus on the word establishment. You were established yesterday. If you did not know, for the past 100 years, certain people, certain things were in place. There are certain things that we don't need anymore that were wiped out yesterday. There was also a wiping out of debt. If you owe debt, they were wiped out yesterday during that few seconds. If I were you, I would be shouting now. If during that few seconds, a wiping out of people's credits, credit history that were bad, were wiped out. So if I didn't ask you guys to shout, you would not have shouted because you are stunned at what I'm saying. During those few seconds or minutes of darkness, of the moon coming to take over the sun, overpowering, you can imagine how powerful the sun is. But for the moon to overpower the sun, the moon is closer to us than the sun. But the moon overpowered it. The night overpowered the day. And you think that is a joke? That's something that you should be clapping. Yeah, it's a phenomenon because you don't know what is really happening. Because people were shouting and jumping. I wasn't, because I knew what was coming. And I've been talking about it since April, May, June, July. I've been talking about what is going to be happening, the judgment that is coming and the blessing that is coming. Things that we have been doing for the past 100 years that were not right were judged. Forces that has kept you where you should not be were judged.
Hallelujah.
If you are in any country or in America, you've been here for years. They've been working using the immigration, the legal to work against you. It was wiped out yesterday. If you've been trying to get a great job and move and become a son of God, which means prosperity, happiness, power, it means that you don't sin against God willfully. You are no longer cheap. The devil can no longer use you. Those things happened. They left yesterday.
Hallelujah.
You've been trying to buy a house, have a house, and certain groups alone. Have you not seen that where you were born or in your territory? It looked like just a particular group of people. They are the one who are constantly buying new cars, constantly having the best food, the best educations, the best businesses, the best days. They are constantly having investment, and you have nothing. Yesterday, the judgment came. Drug dealers were judged. Pimps were judged. Different groups of people who are evil were judged. Politicians got caught in their act and they were judged. Greedy leaders were judged. Pastors who are just using their people for money and they don't care about them, they were judged. God said to all these people who thought they were God, you can now shove it. Yep. You've done enough. The past 100 years, you guys have been running the show. The cry of my children has come up to the heaven. Do you remember when the angels, there were 3 angels that left the house of Abraham, their tummies swollen with good food and drinks, and they were so happy?
Yes.
By the time they reached Sodom and Gomorrah, there were only 2 angels that went. The chief angel left and went back to heaven. I hope you saw what I saw. Is there in the Bible? There were 3 that left Abraham, but only 2 went to Sodom. Where is the other one? There you go. They said, we are here to see whether what is being spoken about this land is true. That's God saying it, that the cry of this land, the wickedness of this land has come up. People have been crying against this land. And that he has sent these angels to come and find out whether it's true. And the people of Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed themselves. They gave themselves up. They revealed, they exposed themselves by showing that do you know that the men of Sodom and Gomorrah wanted to have sex with angels? Angels of God. They wanted to force those two angels to come out so that they can have sex with them.
Yeah.
They use sex as to overpower people. You think that people just have sex because they just want to enjoy being with each other. Let me tell you, in the real sense, a lot of people use sex to destroy other people. And they will give you a lot of money for having sex with you, and you say, oh, thank you. And you do not know that they have bought every good thing that God gave you. They have bought it. They've extracted it from you during the sex act. They have extracted your beauty, extracted your health, extracted your fortune, extracted your favor, extracted your money. You were supposed to be a millionaire. One sex act with one evil man, they will extract it from you, or one woman. And for the rest of your life, you are sicky looking, you look wretched, you look old, you don't have no money, no good car, nothing. Why? Somebody extracted all this from you, gave you maybe $5,000 for being with him or her. They gave you that small thing they took, and they have taken everything from you. They've taken billions from you, and you have no idea. You were supposed to be a landlord. They took all that. Everything that is a contract they have with demons. Please, anybody, that's why there are some men, you think that those men, that they are womanizers. No, they are not womanizers. They know exactly what they are doing. That is how they make their money. They must sleep with a different woman. Even if they are married. You see, those men, they love their wives. They will buy anything for their wives. But you will still see them outside doing something. Because they need other people's face. They need other people's gift. They need to extract other people's favor and give it to their own. And the wife is running one shop today. Next day, they've opened another shop. Next day, they've opened another shop. Next day, a gas station. Next day, a casino. Next day, a liquor store. Next day, a hair place. And you, nothing. And the same man, if you ask that same man who slept with you to open one shop with you, he will never do it. But if you ask him for money, he will give you and sleep with you and take more from you. Whatever remains, they will finish extracting it. They are like spiders. You see how spiders eat? They extract all the chemicals, all the juice from their prey and leave only the carcass there. So when you see the carcass, you think that the thing is still alive. The real thing inside it has already been sucked out of it. And that is how a lot of men make their money. There is supernatural, the world of darkness is mixed with the world of humans many a times, and we don't know it. There was a man that belonged to something. Whenever he donated a new car to the church, the pastor of that church, whenever he drives that car, it doesn't take a few months, the pastor will have an accident on that new car and dies. It continued to happen until somebody noticed it and said, no, we won't do that. We will not accept any car from that man anymore. I also knew of a man that at the end of each year, he will give a cow to a particular church and they will cook and celebrate. They will invite the whole church. And immediately they finish eating that food, they finish celebrating that Christmas, one or two church members will drop. Until somebody came on the scene and said, no, we don't need any cow from you anymore. And people stop dying. Tell me, because a lot of us are excited when you see money. You're excited when you see material resources. You need it. You might not know that that is You were the one who was sacrificed for what you are getting. You are the next. You are next. Now let me finish. Let me finish with the good news. Every problem that you were having in your life, and every problem that was in your family for the past 100 years, was wiped out yesterday.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
God showed you through the eclipse that he has physically come to reverse history for you. Eclipse is God telling you, I have physically come to reverse the situation. Number two, it is God telling you, I have come to do vengeance on your behalf, and I've done it before I even come. Vengeance has been done against your enemies. So don't even think about them. Don't respond to their text message. Burn all their pictures. You don't need to have anything that belongs to them. Except it's something that is costly. You can sell it, or if you want to keep it, as far as they don't remind you about those memories, you can keep it. But outside that, you don't need it.
Thank you, Lord.
See, it is God passing through the nation to reverse the wrongs that were done, to judge the gods and goddesses and wicked human beings in coats and ties and gowns and the skirts and blouses and suits, to put humans in their place so that we know that the Supreme One dwells in the heavens. Now I'm going to tell you, there are certain human beings from yesterday who will start. In fact, let me share with you how this happened. A particular generation, a particular group of people, when once an eclipse like this happened, a particular group of musicians, actors, sports people, particular groups of politicians, governors, people in high places, president, prime ministers, queens, they begin to go one after the other. When once the eclipse finish, you see death happen. It will be like they pump people with enema. People start going to the bathroom one after the other, and they don't come back. They start dying. They start dying one after another. Start going. They start going. They start going. Then families begin to go. Families that has been involved, no repentance have happened. They love it the way things has always been. They don't want no change. They start to go one after the other. Many will die of cancer. Many will have a sudden heart attack. Some will have plane crash, sea crash, land crash, accident, fire disaster. You begin to see things happen. You begin to see states come into turmoil. Bad things begin to happen. The economy begin to drop. Wall Street begin to crash. You know, states begin to lose what makes them. All the values they were holding begin to be derailed. New parties begin to come up. New people begin to challenge those who were already there and tell them of the evil that they didn't want to tell them. I am telling you guys the story of tomorrow. That's what I'm telling you. After the eclipse, that's what I'm telling you what is going to happen. New mass media come on the scene. New prophets like myself arrive. They arrive at the scene because we've been prepared for this moment to take over. 100 years has come and gone yesterday. 100 years have come and gone. So new people prepared to take over are now ushered to take over. Certain department of government close, new ones take their places. Certain people in position of powers either stayed and begin to do the right thing with the new people, or they themselves are swept away and new people take their places. That's what's going to happen. Now let me talk about the establishment also. You have been established since yesterday. An establishment clause, statutory laws, different families and people have been wiped out. A new generation have been written into place. So it means that at that point of darkness, and then goes back to light afterward, light begin, the daytime begin to come back slowly. It means that God has finally decided to take you from where you were, where people put you down. He has now slowly taken you from darkness, where nobody saw your face, nobody heard your name. No matter how educated you've been, you have no investment, you have nothing to show that you were in this world. Why? Because you were pressed down. The people dig a pit for you. People roll a stone almost over you. And God said, enough is enough. I have come for you. There will be new immigration laws passed in America that will favor you. There will be things that were written into laws against you. Court decisions that were made against you were covered. The darkness covered it so that it will never come up again. Every evil thing that was spoken and done against you, the darkness took it with them. The darkness took it so that nobody will know it anymore. It's gone and gone forever. There is a certain history of America that is gone and gone forever. And because you live in this country, certain history of you has gone and gone forever. And let me tell you the good news. Since yesterday afternoon, a new era has started. A new history has started. A new establishment has started. New movement has started. New science and technology has been advanced. New financial tools is on. That is what is happening. Now, you have been prepared for this moment to move in and take over. And that is your job, to move in and take over. Stop crying. Stop crying. Stop disturbing yourself that you are a nobody. Yes, you are a nobody because your parents were nobody. And that history of nobody, a nobody history has been wiped out. You have been returned back to daytime. You are no longer in the nighttime. The eclipse has come and gone, and now you are in the day. You are a son of light. You are now to take over the earth. Hallelujah. Many of you who were in the wrong marriages, that marriage was dissolved yesterday. God does not talk about divorce. There's nothing like divorce in heaven. He talks about separating you, dissolving. They talk about dissolving instead of divorce. Never talk about divorce. Don't tell anybody you were divorced. Tell somebody, I used to be in a relationship. Don't even tell people you were married. If you were married, you would have still been in a marriage. Marriage is something that is continuous. It's not something that stops along the way. If your marriage stopped along the way and there was a divorce, people ask you, have you been divorced before? Tell them no, that you were just dissolved. It was dissolved. Why? So that you can continue with your destiny. Because along the way, the relationship, the marriage became a burden, a pressure on your destiny, so that you could not continue to fulfill your personal dreams and ambition. And you were only fulfilling the ambition of your partner, and your partner was not helping to create your own. So God decided to dissolve it. That's just the whole thing. So don't go about crying, because as of yesterday, it has been dissolved. And now you can move on and fulfill your destiny. You can now move on. The wrong people have been swept away by darkness. Darkness has carried away the wrong people. And now the right people, when you turn around, when you recover from the darkness of things that has been taken away from you, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, there are things that has been swept away. History, the bad history has been swept away. Now, when you turn around, you will see the real people waiting to embrace you. They were always there, but you didn't see them because darkness covered you and darkness covered them. Now you can see each other. Now you can attract the best. So from yesterday, A new era in world history has started. A new era in world history has started. And you are part of that history. Why? Because you are alive to have seen or heard about the eclipse. You are alive. You are not yet dead. So now you've been given power. As many as received him, he gave power for them to become sons and daughters of the living God. He gave them authority. He turned them into prince and princess. They now do things that angels do. They now live like people live in heaven. That's what happened after the eclipse of yesterday. That's the message of the eclipse that I wanted you to hear. What the eclipse was saying, what God was saying to you yesterday. So, while you do not need to keep praying for things you prayed for, you do not need to go on casting out devils that were occupying, because it has been taken care of for you. What you are now doing is building on what God has already built. Now you can go on and buy houses, buy your sports car. You can now enjoy life to the fullest. Many of you are going to become great scientists. Many of you are going to be the next business rulers and leaders. Many of you are going to be the next governors and presidents of your nations. It's about time. It's about time. The wrongs that were done to you, God has judged. The judgment has happened. And you will begin to see the manifestations of the judgments and the blessings. It will begin to manifest. Because let me tell you how the supernatural act. When they want to really deal with life, they don't make no noise. They come silently and they go quietly. And that is the word of God for this day. Now let me also say this to you. Since the new has started for you, the Bible says that all things are passed away. The new has begun. Be new. See yourself as new. See yourself as somebody who has been called and entitled. You have been given the opportunity to win. You have been given the opportunity. Some of you are going to be told to walk away from your families so that God can take you on a journey. The journey started yesterday. Be willing to go with him. And this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now I want you to lift up your hand and begin to thank God and begin to welcome the new era and begin to welcome the next 100 years. You've welcomed it. It happened yesterday. So begin to thank him that the next 100 years is these are great years for you. These are powerful times for you. Your family is being established once and for all.
Era of transformation. I welcome this new era of changes in my life. I go for your greatness. I thank you for your revelation in my life. I thank you for your blessings and your glory in my life. Thank you for your glory. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Thank you for all that you are doing. I welcome this new era and I welcome these possibilities. I welcome the greatness that you have opened and the doors that you have opened in my life. I thank you, Father. I thank you for your love, for your care, and for everything that you've been doing for me. I always in my life. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I thank you. I thank you with all my heart. I thank you because I welcome your new era. I welcome your new possibilities. I welcome your new life. I welcome the new life that you have. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Thank you that my eyes are open. Thank you. Thank you.
You can never be broke anymore. You can never be broke anymore.
Hallelujah.
Anybody who owes you money, any case that they decided not to try, they are going to try it and they will count the money and put in your hand. Just make sure you send me my own. If you are going through a dissolving of a relationship, they are going to give you what you are entitled to in that dissolving.
Hallelujah.
Many of you are going to receive letters, and that letter contains good news. Some will be money. Some will need you to travel back to somewhere to go and sign papers and get what is yours and come back. Many of you will be given business opportunities because what your parent could not attempt, you can now attempt because the era of your parent has been wiped out. It does not exist anymore. The era of the slavery and all the racism and all these problems is gone as of yesterday. So if anybody tries, let me say this, if anybody tries to take you and take your nation back to where you guys, what has been wiped out, the punishment that person will receive, it will be like that person has never been born. Because, because when God does what he did yesterday, you cannot turn back the clock. Anybody that tried to turn back the clock, they always die. They always die. If people are moving in the right direction and you try to take them back to the wrong direction, you will pay with your life. So warn people in your family. Your uncles, your aunties are the first people to warn because they are the most greedy people. Warn your siblings. A new era has started. Another 100 years history is on. And we are participating in this. Tomorrow we will have 2 services, 7 in the morning, Ustream will be on, and 12 noon. All of it Central Time, which is 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. for those in the East Coast. I want to thank you for coming, and please, I want you to be very excited about what has happened. You see, God said to me, unless a human being say these things, I'm not going to do them. And that is why God waited until on Sunday we had the prophetic conference. And then today we are building on it. The new era. Another 100 years is on. So God does not just operate on a 7-year cycle. He also operates on a 100-year cycle. And also on a 1,000-year cycle. That's how they work. Mary of Chicago, I know you are there. I know your voice. I want God Almighty to strengthen you and to give you the spirit of an ox. The spirit of an ox, you will keep journeying. You will never be tired. You are strong. Not the spirit of a horse or a donkey or a lion or a hyena or a cheetah. That's the animal that run faster. Because those animals, they can easily be worn out. But an ox will keep going until you've achieved everything you came to do for the next 100 years. Any business you are starting, put it on 100 years' time. Any business you are starting, let it run on 100 years' time or more, or a 200 years period. Should be how you should put it. Anything that you are doing today, put it to last for the next 100 years or 200 years. That's how God looks at it. If you are willing to do business this way, God, what I'm doing, I want it to last for the next 100 years or the next 200 years or the next 1,000 years, God will take you serious. And you will become his friend. Don't do anything to just be something of a few years. God will not take you serious. Because he is out there already, waiting for you to catch up with him. This is Bishop Idika Imeri saying to you, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And make sure you go and contribute to our ministry. Remember that whatever you give is tax deductible. You can deduct it during your tax time. So send us some big donations for us to use to run ministry and to do charity works around the world. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.